Hello YouTube, welcome to this edition of Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. We are in North Red River Parish on Rush Road specifically. And right down this road right here is the first racetrack I ever got to attend as a child. My family took me to Choushatta Raceway. We're gonna see if we can find it today. Just ride along with us. To start with, I want to show you the type of cars that ran at Choushatta Raceway. This is actually in my front yard. This is our yard art. And this is a 55 Chevrolet, I think it is, this one. This would have been a full body car, and this would have been a coupe. And they also ran hobby stocks. The full body cars had center steering in this car, as you can see. A driver sat in the center. That's what we call chain steering. The steering box was still in the same place, but it used a chain to be able to get the a big sprocket to a small sprocket, and that's what sped up the steering. Plus, it put the driver in the middle for safety purposes. I'm not sure if this car here is a 1933 Chevrolet. This was driven by Ellis Hurd. This belongs to a real good friend of mine, family friend, Jeff Lewis, and his wife, Stacy Lewis. This was Stacy's dad, Ellis Hurd. She was Stacy Hurd, obviously. I don't know, this car may have actually ran at Choushatta. I am not sure. Again, you can see the center steering. I've got a weed growing up in here. There you go. You can see the sprocket there. That went over to another bracket that held a sprocket over there that went down to the steering box. But these are two types of cars that ran at Choushatta Raceway. And pretty cool. I love saving these old cars. I searched and found this picture, and the blue arrow is pointing to me sitting in the grandstand. So this would be probably 71 or 72. I'm probably 9 or 10 years old. And that's from my parents up to my upper right. Pretty crazy. Then the red arrow is to a family friend of ours who lived there in my hometown of Sling, Louisiana. As Donald Ray showed, and his wife Linda, and this little Donnie showed his son sitting in his lap. But pretty cool. I actually found this picture of me sitting in the grandstands at Choushatta Raceway. To give you a perspective of where the racetrack was located, this is Choushatta, Louisiana. It's about 30 minutes southeast of Shreveport, and Choushatta is just right off the banks of the Red River. This is Highway 71. This is just south of Choushatta, Louisiana. And this would have been the main entrance into the track. We just got in, and we're gonna travel up this way and see if we can find where the old track was. I haven't been here since probably 1973, I would guess, within the last time I would have been here. And this is interesting. Come back, and I don't know if we could be able to find the track, any remnants left of the track or not, but it'd be interesting to see. I know you can still see it from the satellite, so we'll ease up here and see. Believe it or not, I actually go to church with the family that owns this land now, and their family's the one that operated the track about years ago. So we'll get up here and see if we can figure it out here. Okay, I'm gonna use my wise. So this is the road we just came off of 71 up here. We just came down here. This is where we're sitting. That house is that house right there. So that means that the racetrack, which you can see is turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. I'm sorry, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So it's straight down this fence line, which is right over there. So let's walk out there and see if we can find any remnants left of the old Choushatta Speedway, last operated in 1973. So you can see it there as plain as day. And I'm anxious to see if we can figure something out. So let's go take a look. Okay, as I was saying, the track, and I can actually see now that I'm out of the truck, I'm actually see the bank corners over here. And Miss Rush guaranteed us that cows were friendly, so we're gonna go through this gate here and see if we can go check out the track. And hopefully we're gonna get Run off. Oh, that's how it's coming off. Let's see here. Okay, it don't take much to get through here, so let's get through here and see. This is the first racetrack that my parents ever took me to when I was a kid, and I was actually the first child of me and my two brothers, older brothers, that actually went to the races. I came in one Friday night or one Friday afternoon from school. And usually my parents would have something planned for us on the weekend, and she says, I asked my mom, I said, what are we doing this weekend? She says, well, your dad wants to go to car races tonight. I said, car races? Yeah, your dad wants to go to car races. So we came to Choushatta Speedway, and this is where it all started back here. That was probably 1971 or 72, I would guess. We'll get over a little closer. But yeah, now I think I'm so excited, something I hadn't been in here in many, many years. I was just telling my wife that in case the cows come after us, you know the old saying, all you have to do is outrun the person that's with you. You don't have to be that fast, you just got to run faster than they are. Hopefully we won't get any trouble here. All right, we're a little bit closer, and I cannot believe it. It's plain as day now to get up here. This is turns 1 and 2. The banking is still here. Man, we could blade the grass off this thing. We could hot lap out here. The cows are just off inside the back straightaway. But check it out. This is Choushatta Raceway. You can see the corner right here. We're standing on the top of turn 2 right here. I cannot tell you how freaking awesome this is to be able to be here. That's turns 1. This is turn 2. This is looking down the back straightaway. And obviously the grandstands are over there. That shows you how old these trees are. You can actually still see some of the clay that was out here. I tell you, I'd like to bring a metal detector. We've got one, and I'd like to come out here and I'm liable to find some old parts off a car. but you can barely see some of where the ants have brought up some clay. But again, this is the banking here from that direction. You see real nice sweeping turn. And we're coming over now to this has been the front straightaway. I'm gonna try to take you around turn 1 and 2 here. We're entering turn 1, and I tell you, I remember cars were actually running dual tires back in the day. Can you imagine that? You didn't have access to racing tires, or if you was a limited budget racer like so many racers were back then, but I remember the coupes actually running dual tires on a 3/4 inch rear end, and you would run dual tires on the back to get the extra rubber on the ground. So we're in the middle of 1 and 2. That's the bottom, that's the top there. It's amazing to me how narrow the track looks. It is very, very narrow, but you're coming here, shooting down back straightaway. The cars would pit back here on the back straightaway. I remember my brother always talking about, he said, because he builds all of our motors for 100 years, and he says, used to think, man, if I could just get over there, it'd be like going to the Indianapolis 500 garage area, you know, but it was just a bunch of poor racers like everybody else trying to race. But I would love to bring my metal detector. I'm gonna check with Miss Rush. Just come out here, and I guarantee you, might be able to find some old tools or some old parts that were pulled off, and I guarantee you that's where all the cars would park, right back there. Great families like the Ingalls, Ray Ingalls and Doug Ingalls, Junior Doherty. I don't know if Dennis Doherty and them ever raced here, but I mean, Ray Myers, so many of the local racers would run here on Friday night, and then they would go to either Minden or Hilltop Raceway on Saturday, and then I-20 Raceway, and then obviously Boot Hill opened up in 1973 as well, and that's pretty much shut down all these other little tracks. But this is the back straightaway here. You can see turns 1 and 2. See where the birds are sitting? I mean, sorry, that's turns 3 and 4. The birds are on 3 and 4. So look how short that is. I mean, I mean, as a kid, I thought it was like 2.5 mile super speedway. It's amazing how short this thing is. That's turns 3 and 4 down there. So a very, very small. This is shorter than a 1/4 mile, I'd say. Okay, we just came down the back straightaway, turns 1, 2. This is the back straightaway. Well, this is turn 3, going around to turn 4. I'm gonna show you a picture here in just a minute of Doug Ingalls and Junior Doherty fighting it out, crossing the checkered flag. just this side of those trees there. And I think Junior Doherty won the battle that night in his Ford-powered coupe. And that's going to be one of the pictures I'll show you here in just a second. This is the picture I was telling you about. This is the 34 Junior car driven by Junior Doherty, and Lazy 8 driven by Doug Ingalls out of Longview, Texas. Junior always drove cars that were Ford powered. He was a big Ford man, one of the few cars that were powered by Ford back in the day, but he ran good. And then he's barely beating Lazy 8, Doug Ingalls, to the line here. Both of these drivers have grandkids that are racing today still. For some reason to me, turns 3 and 4 here look a little wider than what 1 and 2 was. You still see how the embankment in the infield was raised up. So it hadn't changed after all these years. I'm telling you, we get the grass off of it, we can make a few laps. But you can sure tell the outline of the infield there from 1973. So that is 50 years ago. Yeah, 50 years. Because this is 2023. Well, I took a survey of the cows, and they said, yes, they wanted to bring racing back to Coushatta Speedway. So we need to do that, Casada Raceway officially. But I cannot tell you how cool this is to be here. We're going to close out the video today. I'm going to show you some still shots that I have from this racetrack, this very racetrack that was made back in the early 70s. So I hope you enjoy it. Well, this is the same night as the earlier picture I showed you, because you can see me sitting there below the flag stand, just below to the right with my hands on my knees still. I'm in the same position for some reason, but this is a Rambler bodied full body driven by Don Coleman Jr. Now, my dad worked for Don Coleman Sr., who was a huge home builder in the Shreveport area, also down in South Louisiana. And Don Coleman Jr. started a home building business, and me and my oldest brother worked for him. I actually put myself through college working as a framer helper, framing houses, worked for Don Coleman Jr. More ironic is when Don Coleman Jr. retired in the early 80s and I started racing cars in 1983, I bought his old fire suit, his shoes and glove and helmet and everything, and I actually started out racing with his old safety equipment. It was a black, and it was a Simpson helmet, but pretty cool picture here that I found. This is an interesting shot taken from turn 1 and 2 there at Choushatta Raceway. The building in the back is the concession stand and bathrooms and all, if I remember correct. And it's pretty interesting. The car there on the second row inside is powered by a 6-cylinder. The double X car, that was driven by Dale Settle, a real good friend of ours who still has family members that race. And he's powered by a V8 car, so you have 2 V8 cars in front. I'm not sure who's on the outside, but pretty cool seeing these cars here together, 6-cylinder versus the V8. This is the 007 full body. I believe this car was driven by Roger Brogdon, if I remember correct. I know he's sponsored by Nolan Paint and Body. Nolan Paint and Body Shop was right just down the road from the Choushatta Raceway, and they grew to be a very big wrecker service through the years. But it's pretty cool seeing him waving at the crowd here in the full body class. This is another picture of some coupe action there at Choushatta. And 77 was a real nice looking car driven by Johnny Bird. And then the 34 car is the Ford power car driven by Junior Doherty. And looks like they are coming towards a checkered flag. And in this race, it looks like Johnny Bird has defeated Junior in this particular coupe race. Well, guys, I hope that was as special to you as it was to me. To come back and look at a racetrack that I first visited, the first racetrack I ever visited when I was about 10 or 11 years old. Here I am 60 now, it's a long time ago. But thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button and tell your friends and family about the channel. And we will see you next time on Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. God bless you. You take care.